Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Miami and I just want to do a quick video. In this video I want to talk about how the Innerverse is so important, because once you master the Innerverse, you slowly start to master the external verse. So the example I want to use is, you know how we have like stories where Jesus was able to walk in water, or how Moses was able to like split the sea. And really what's happening is, what we can see is they're so in tune with their Innerverse where they're starting to manifest externally. So one example of this is, when you start manifesting in the Innerverse, you start to have like synchronicities, and then you start to have gnosis, and then you start to have gut feelings. So what happens is, when we are unconscious, right, we start to manifest chaos, because the patriarchal society intentionally is just bombarding us with visualizations through television and what they want us to program. So they're feeding us subconscious symbolism, because the divine feminine speaks in symbolism, right? So by feeding us subconscious symbolism, we're manifesting their will. So what you really want to do is analyze your will. Be very careful what you put into your consciousness. So therefore, like, I don't really watch a lot of mainstream television. I kind of study, but by not doing that, you don't let them program you, right? And this is how you can become like the Virgin Mary, where you can wake up without the patriarchal society. So what happens is, once you start to do that, you will start to realize that you start to have epiphanies, then you start to have gut feelings, and you start to feel it. Then the universe starts using your body to speak to you. And then eventually it will start coming like synchronicities, and it will feel like wings from the universe, where the billboard will be speaking something that's in your thought. And then eventually you start to see that the physical world is so in sync with your Innerverse that things start to manipulate in your favor. So it looks like you're starting to manipulate, because whatever you think, you manifest. It's thoughts create reality, but you believe in it so much that the stronger you believe in it, the faster it manifests. You can also see this happening with embodiments, right? Embodiments is, once we start embodying like our bodies, we will start to notice some mythologies are in sync with our stories, like, you know, like the Virgin Mary, or like the Trinity, right? So if we hear of the Trinity, we know that the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. That means there's probably going to be the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit that's going to be in the mythology. So if you embody that, that means, so if I was to embody, let's just say hypothetically, the Virgin Mary, then I know that there would be probably a Father archetype and a Son archetype, right? So the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But there's also other archetypes like Shiva Shakti, Aphrodite, and baby angels, you know, the lost tribes of Israel. There's so many of that. So when you realize that, it's fascinating, because when you start to get into true spirituality, and when you start getting into embodiment, and then you start getting into the supernatural things that they always talk about in the ancients, right? They talk about like the supernatural things they can have. And just to let you guys know, that's really being able to truly master your Innerverse. So be very, very careful what you let in, the subconscious programming, who talks to you, how you speak to yourself, how you let people talk to you, and all that good stuff. So that's my quick video. Hope you like it.